Hi, my name is Caitlin Pavlovich, and this is a mock parent-teacher conference for a first grade student. Hi, Mrs. Smith. Thank you for coming in today and taking the time out of your busy schedule to see me about Jax. Before we get into the academic side of things, I just want to say that Jax is a very hardworking little boy, and he's very enjoyable to be around. He always has a smile on his face and has plenty of stories to share with everybody, students and myself alike. He has a lot of friends, so that's a really positive thing. He gets along with everybody, so we don't have to worry about his social side.
Jax.
His attendance is near perfect, so that is applauding you and your husband's efforts of getting him here on time. So thank you, because that's very important that he's not missing class. During this conference, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me at any point, and I can clarify what I'm saying, or if you have a question about something else, that's totally fine. As far as school goes, Jax is doing great. He's where he needs to be at this point in the year. I would like to spend a majority of this time talking about his reading progress, because I think that that's a really important skill, and his ability to read will impact almost every other subject in school, so I really want to focus on that. Just recently I tested all of the students in 5 reading areas. The first is phonemic awareness, and then phonics, and then vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. Phonemic awareness is pretty much summed up as the ability to recognize the relationship between letters and the sounds they make. And so, to put it in layman's terms, phonemic awareness and phonics is pretty much the same thing. We're testing a few different things, and here, these are the tests that I actually gave them. So you can look over these tests. This is the phonemic awareness one, and this is the phonics one. So you'll see that they're a little bit different, but they fall under the same umbrella. Vocabulary is being able to identify the meanings of words. Fluency is how he is able to read, and there's 2 different types of fluency. There's word fluency, and then there's text fluency. So word fluency is Jax's ability to recognize a word as soon as he's able to see it. We call it sight words. So that's 1 word at a time. Text fluency is his ability to read a passage without it being broken up from him sounding out all the different words. And then the last test, comprehension, just tested Jax on how he was able to make meaning of the story. So, for example, I read a story to him, and he retold what he understood, and I asked questions about the story, and he was able to, and the answers that he was able to give. So comprehension is just understanding what the story is saying. Getting into specifics about the tests and his results. One of Jax's biggest strengths was his willingness to try. He always tried everything, even if something looked really intimidating. For example, reading some of these words, he gave it a shot anyways, even if he was afraid that he was going to get it wrong. The great part is that he was very patient, and he actually took the time to sound out the words, which some kids will see the first letter and then make up the rest of the word. For example, somebody might see the word tortilla, and they see the T, and the rest of the word is too intimidating, so they will make up tarantula instead. So Jax doesn't do that. He does a good job of being patient and sounding out the word. Let's see. When he does sound it out, he correctly pronounces all the words, so that's good. He understands the basic rules of the English language, and we will continue to build on that as we progress through the first grade. So he's picked up the concepts that we've been working on this year so far, which is really a great thing. His vocabulary level is perfect. He's not only memorizing the words and their definitions, but he's able to give examples of them, which means that he's personalizing them instead of just responding verbatim and saying word for word. He's making sense of what the words mean. So, and we will continue to build his vocabulary as we do read alouds and continue studying them throughout the year. And his comprehension is nothing to worry about. During the comprehension test, he completely understood the story and was able to tell me everything back in detail. So he is doing really well in all of those areas. The one area that I would like to work on improving with Jax is his fluency. And that is a very common thing to have to worry about in first grade because the students are just learning how to read. So I have a couple of things that I'm planning on doing with him in the classroom, and then I have a couple of ideas for you and your husband to work on with him at home to help him stay on track. First of all, there is a list that has been created of 100 words that students in first grade need to be able to recognize without even thinking about it. Not sounding it out, they just see the word, like me, for example, and instead of having to sound out e, they just know that that word is me. I plan to give Jax about 10 words at a time and have him work through the words in flashcards and just work on memorizing them and mixing it up and going through the pile again. So I'll give him a stack of 10 cards or words. He'll work on them throughout the week or however long it takes him to memorize them. And then when he feels ready, he'll let me know and we can go through the words and see if he has them down the way that we would like him to. And these are flashcards, so this is something that he can bring home. And if you guys have time at dinner or after dinner or really quickly before bed, it takes not even a minute to just go through those 10 words. And we will continue to give him new words as he becomes fluent in the words that he's currently working on. So that will address the word fluency. To address the text fluency, I am planning on just giving him short passages or short stories that, similar to the flashcard words, he can practice over a period of time in the classroom or at home. And once he can fluently read the passage without pauses or breaks, then I'll give him a new passage. So it's really just a lot of practice. Practice makes perfect. So we're going to just keep him reading so that he gets more exposure to it. Outside of the classroom, for you guys at home, if you have the time, I would just really advise you to read aloud to him as much as possible. And this can take place whenever is convenient for you, your husband. It can be a babysitter, a sibling, a grandparent, anybody that will be able to read to Jax will help to develop his abilities in all 5 of the areas that we tested on. So that's probably the best thing that you guys can do with him. And over the weekends, we're sending the kids home with book bags that they get to select a couple of books to take home. So if you guys do not have books within your house, then he'll have those available for you to read. And when you're reading aloud with him, make sure that he's paying attention. Make sure that he's following along with the words on the page, and so that he is being exposed to more of the written form of language. Pause every once in a while to ask him questions to make sure that he is comprehending and understanding everything that you guys are reading. And once we get further along with him, it'll get to the point where you won't necessarily have to do the reading, but Jax will be able to read to you so you can sit back and just enjoy the story. The other option with that, if you or your husband don't have time to read to Jax, is YouTube. Although it can be kind of crazy sometimes, they have some good resources on there that they will have actual books and they'll have the words below it. So as the YouTube video is reading the story aloud, Jax could follow along with the words on the page. So I have a list of those resources that I can give to you after this if you think that that's something that you guys would be interested in, or if you have the resources to be able to access the internet and YouTube, then I can give those books to you that are on YouTube. And at this point, that's all I have for you. Do you have any questions regarding what we talked about or anything else?
Do you think I could take the books home during or have you give the books to Jax during the week? Because I know it's difficult for us to go to the library and pick some up.
Yeah, definitely. And we can, usually most of the kids take them home on the weekends, but if you guys feel that you'll have the time to read with him, then that is more than fine, and we will keep you guys supplied with books to keep him practicing.
So we have to make sure that he read to him 10-15 minutes a day, and then make sure he goes through his flashcards to improve his fluency.
Exactly. If you guys have the time, and really just as much exposure as possible, it's amazing how much just 10 minutes could do daily to help him progress further along. But other than that, it's not anything to be concerned about. We're just going to keep him on track, really. So he's in a good position right now.
Okay, I think that's something I can do for him.
Okay, perfect. And if you think of anything, or if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email, or you can drop by the classroom either before or after school starts, and we can discuss whatever you have concerns about.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. All right, well, thank you for coming in again, and I look forward to having Jackson in my class for the rest of the year.
Thanks.
The end.